relate to manifestation for us. So, manifestation is about chasing our desires and tapping the subconscious mind to help us get our desires, whatever we desire. Normally we think of something, then we say or do and act towards achieving that goal. So somebody has a shop or has a business and he wants to grow the business 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, or he or she imagines that and then acts on it. So what manifestation says is that assume it is done. Assume that you have already achieved the goal and act like that. So reverse the role. If you are looking at abundance and you don't have abundance but you have 5 rupees, give those 5 rupees in a way as though you have abundance. And in this manifestation there is also gratitude, which they use as a tool, which is because we don't have gratitude, so subconscious mind and the universal mind doesn't come to our assistance, doesn't come to our help. So we work on this manifestation. We manifest any of our goals or desires. And it is very widely circulated that manifestation is a powerful tool, empowers us. It works very well and we are able to achieve our goals through manifestation. It seems to me a very interesting concept in the short term. But one major issue which I would like to raise is who is manifesting and what is the role or the status of that manifesting individual. What is my status? Who am I? Because I am the one who is manifesting. So who am I? And what is the relation I have with creation for things to manifest? Some interesting facts that all of us assume we have 5 senses, but science today says we have about 34 inherent senses. Every individual has about 34. We know 5th or 6th sense, but they say they have 34 senses we have. So they try and use that in that mind of ours, which is supposed to be very potent, to achieve this. Now, one aspect which we should understand is that we are the one who is manifesting. And who am I? This is the role which we all need to understand. What am I as an individual? What am I looking for? This is the other question. We are all seeking something. What are we seeking? So our desires, are they the answer to what we are seeking? Do I know the complete picture? I am the one who is desiring something. Do I know the repercussions of those desires? I desire having a motorcycle. Do I know the rules of how to use a motorcycle? Do I know what all I have to do once I get the motorcycle? I desire having a relationship. Do I know what that relationship will deliver to me? I desire having lots of money. Most of us want lots of money. I've got that money. What will that bring me? What will that lots of money mean to me, and what will it bring me? I assume it will bring me happiness. This is my assumption. But will it bring me happiness? Will it bring me the comfort the stability which I desire, because I desire stability with happiness. I don't desire an unstable environment. And do I know what is my happiness forever? Where does that rest? Today I desire something, tomorrow something, then something else. So how do I desire every day something which I know will bring me happiness? Am I certain it will bring me happiness? Am I certain it will be lasting happiness? If that happiness which I get from that desire doesn't last very long, then what do I desire? So I have to be in a doing mode. I have to keep doing to get happiness. Gautam Buddha, in the basic formation of Dhammapada, says life is pain, life is dukkha. And he says the reason for this dukkha is trishna, desire. And in manifestation we are saying we are desiring and it will bring me happiness. Fair enough. We may have this short-term goal. I am stuck in a bad relationship. I manifest an exit from that relationship. What about my pain? Where does my pain come from? Where is the source of the pain of life? This one individual I was observing and listening to talked about her pain, separation from her spouse, death. She was in depression because of separation from her spouse. Her partner had passed away. And how she manifested meeting this individual. How she manifested this idea that she will meet this individual, and that it came about. The basic issue for us all is that where is this happiness which we are looking for forever rest? Is it from our desires? This is our basic question. And do I know which desire is right for me, which is wrong for me? What is the desire which I am wanting or I am needing, which may not be good for me? There can be some things I desire, but they are not the right thing to look forward to. Everything I wish for, everything I do, everything I want comes with a baggage, comes with results in it, comes with repercussions, comes with certain responsibilities, comes with certain amount of effort, and it may not be to my liking. I may not be able to ride the motorcycle I desire. I have one case of my friend who desired riding a motorcycle and he passed away. He hit the motorcycle on a curb and he died. Matter of minutes. I manifest getting into a motorcycle. But do I control the environment of the motorcycle? Do I control the environment I live in? Do I control myself? I have this desire which I am trying to manifest. I don't know whether manifestation is 100% result. But who is manifesting? I am manifesting. And who is this I playing in? In which environment? There are others also manifesting. So suppose I manifest the same thing as the other person, and then there is not abundance of that. We both want a certain type of pen, and there is only 2 pens in the world, or 1 pen in the world. Then whose manifestation will work, and how will that be helpful to me to take away somebody else's desire and make it mine? These are complex questions. But one basic question to ask is, do I know the environment I live in completely, totality? Do I know what life is? Do I know what I is? These are basic questions because manifestation is done by me. My desires for happiness is where I'm going to get pulled into. And does happiness in the physical world, because this manifestation is primarily in the physical world, in the material world. I have nowhere seen somebody trying to manifest a spiritual reality. Because manifestation has to do with imagination. And so the limitation of manifestation is whatever I can imagine. And I have a limitation of what I can imagine. And it is my conditioned mind. Whatever I've learnt, whatever I know, whatever I've gained from my environment, that is my imagination. That's what I imagine. Now, in this environment, just understand that we are imagining a desire which I want. We are assuming that that desire is my happiness. We are also assuming that that desire will have a longevity, will have a life which is sustainable, which is reasonably rewarding. Because if a desire will go away in a matter of minutes, what's the sense in manifesting something like that? So they call it trick your mind when they talk about manifestation. They trick. They assume that it has happened and they say, now I assumed I have money. I assume I am in the relationship. I assume I have the status. This is an assumption and I act like that. And I act in gratitude. Basically, making my environment positive, making my environment more conducive to relaxed mind. All these are to do with dhyan. Because if my mind is positive, I am going into dhyan. Wherever my dhyan will go, there I will go. There my life will travel. So dhyan is a form of manifestation. If I desire with apt dhyan, with dhyan, single pointed dhyan, something, then my mind will move towards that. There is no doubt about that. But what will the repercussions be? A young boy manifests a relationship with a lady and he has the dhyan, the strength of dhyan. Dhyan means the non-wandering mind, the focused mind, the thoughtless mind. Then he goes into a relationship because he goes into many relationships because he has invited these relationships and they will come depending on the environment he is in. But will those relationships give him the happiness he desires? Initially maybe, in the long term will they? So the question is manifestation a short-term tool or is it a long-lasting impact on my life? We are all manifesting. These are jargons which are created with today's world, but we all manifest in the sense that we create a work, business, we go into marriage, we go into relationships, we go into status of and whatever we go into, we are desiring something. There's something we are looking for there. This is manifestation. But does happiness live alone in the material world? In this world, there is a divisive energy. There is no singularity. So if I say, what is happiness? Then I will have to say that which is unhappy. So when I am using its opposite to define it, that means that that condition of happiness doesn't live alone. It lives with its partner, which is unhappiness. Sukh or happiness lives with sorrow. because that's the way you define it. You define happiness as that which is not sorrow. Similarly, we can define good. What is good? That which is not bad. So we need bad for good to be defined. That means good will not exist by itself in the material world. It will live with bad. Who is rich? There's one good definition I found in the Torah. He says, he who has more than he needs is rich. This is a nice definition. But we will say he is not poor. So rich will live with poor. Rich and poor live together. So wherever there will be wealth, there will be poverty. You see in society, you see in our day-to-day world, everybody is not rich. It's a relative term. Similarly, you keep looking at the entire segment of the world. You look at high status, you will find lower status with it. You look at freedom, you will find that trapment with it. Everything which exists in creation is in the duality, which is what was defined in the Asadivar. He says that the Creator defines his energy in the physical form as two. Now, one more element which comes in here is quantum physics. In quantum physics, he says there is no matter. Everything is energy. So if this is no matter, everything is energy, then what am I desiring? Now here comes the basic question of life. What are we all looking for? I will quote Judo Krishnamurti. In one of his lectures, he starts by saying, we are all looking for happiness. And we are looking for happiness forever. This is the basic issue. Does manifestation fulfills this aspect of my need? My basic need is happiness forever. Does manifestation fulfill this desire? Because if it doesn't, then manifestation by itself is not my answer. It may be a temporary tool which we actually all use. We go for a journey, we lost our way, and we imagine we find the way. We look and try and do and think, let's find it. Yes, but we don't assume we have found it and act that way. That is something which is new. In the new paradigm of manifestation, they say, you act as though it is done. You act as though you have found it. That also sometimes we do. We say, ho jayega, we'll get it. We'll get the answer. Don't worry. That means we already know, or we already assume it is there. See, there is a paradigm in the mind, which is the changing mind, which is thinking mind. And the changing mind is not a stable mind. It will not be in the same mood forever. It is defined by change, and that is the nature of our world around us. Everything is defined by change. That's why Guru says, Jo sukh ko chahe sada, Saran Ram ki le. If you desire happiness forever, there the paradigm changes. We don't even know what is forever. We don't know that world which is forever. We know the changing world. We know the thinking world. We know this world which we live in, where we have to constantly do. And this is what manifestation is also doing. It is making us constantly manifest. He or she says, the moment I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is gratitude for the pillow, for the room, so they keep chasing this desire, so to say, for doing constantly. So I have to be in thinking mode to live this manifestation world. And I don't know if there is a study done of how much effectiveness manifestation has. Because in the physical world, there is a competition. We compete for the same resources. Somewhere he says there is abundance, there's enough for everyone. Not in the physical world. There may be enough for everyone if we take away human greed. But there is a lot of greed, and a very small percentage of the people in the world control a large wealth. You see the drama happening around us. These airlines' latest problem which is coming, thousands of aircrafts cancelled, that has to do with someone's desire. It is manifested by someone to take away someone's wealth. This is what is happening around us. We are all usurping the other's wealth to feel happy. So in this way we are sadists. We punish the other person. We want his rights to something, and then we feel happy about it. What does Guru say about all this? The first thing Guru Nanak says is that life can only be understood in completeness when we know Hukam. Through the eye or through the home, the whole picture is not opened. It cannot be. Only when we know Hukam, we know the picture falls into place. And in Hukam, he says, I am not. So my relationship to this world is defined by, not by my wanting, but by my ability to go beyond myself, go beyond my ego. People call it the higher self. Now this is difficult to understand. Here we can't manifest. How do I manifest going beyond the ego? I have only the ego. Same thing Judo Krishnamurti says, what is there if I am not? If I am not, what is there? So how do I understand or relate to or live this concept that I am not, my ego is not? Because the ego lives in a paradigm, I live in a paradigm of constant change. If today I am happy, tomorrow I will be unhappy. That is what change means. It doesn't mean I will be constantly happy. What does Hukam mean? Maharaj says Hukam can't be defined, but Hukam is the entire creation. Hukmi hovan akar. Hukam na kehya jai. And Hukam can be defined in one way as the orders, rules, laws of the world, the laws of the spirit world, laws of the physical world, all combined together. Or the entire creation is Hukam, is order, is some kind of structure, some rules which govern the entire creation, which we are not aware of, but we are partly aware of maybe. The other question which comes to us is that what happens in manifestation and death? Can I manifest life beyond death? Is that a possibility? What about separation? As we discussed this aspect of the duality as the fundamental part of creation. So in physical world, meeting and separation live together. If we will meet someone, we will separate. Which is exactly what happened to this neuroscientist who talks about manifestation. She says, I lost my partner and I went into depression. So what was the foundation of my life? Was this relationship. And if this relationship goes away, and I am separated from that meeting which is defining me today, tomorrow it becomes separation. So today's pain, today's happiness becomes tomorrow's pain. Today's manifestation becomes tomorrow's pain. How do I live with this manifestation? Where does this happiness forever which I am seeking lie? This is a basic question. The second question is desire, which I desire, is it the right thing for me to do or not? Who is to judge that? Somebody desires being Mukesh Ambani. I want billions of crores. Somebody can desire. Most of us may desire. But is Mukesh Ambani happy? Do we know that he is happy? And do we know that the life ending of this person will also be happy? Do we know this? That the wealthy person who has lot of money, when he dies, he also goes happy. Is that something we know? Because the whole picture has to be seen. You can't see just the physical world where he or she has lot of wealth, lot of money, everything they need or want, whether that is really being defined as happiness, converting into happiness. Most likely not. And certainly, and in death, it is not going to be happy ending. Because my life is dependent on wealth, on money, and it will go away. We meditated on this one Shabad of Bhagat Kabir this morning, where he talks about 4 paradigms which death levels, completely flattens. First is age. He says that youth and elderly people all die. Everyone dies. Baadhe, boodhe, tarune dayya. Sab hu jam le jaiye le. Then he says something interesting. He says, Manas bapura musakino, meech balaya khayere. That the human being as an existence, human personality as an existence, human life as an existence is actually dependent on someone else's philanthropy, someone else's daya. Like the cat is eaten by the mouse, the human being is eaten by time. Manus Bapura. Bapura word exactly means that he who is bichara, who has no options. So life by itself is a trap. I don't have any options. And I will be eaten by death in time. This human life ends in death. Then he says, Raja, Parja, Sam Karmare. The king and the subjects, death is the leveler, is the same for both. Aso kaal badani re. Tanvantar nirdanmani. Rich and poor, wealthy and those who have no money, they are also leveled by death. So all this manifestation which I am doing in the physical world is leveled by death. Somebody else does no manifestation. I do a lot of manifestation. I have got a lot of money, wealth, assuming I have got them. Death will take it all away and we will be in the same footing at death. If there is empowerment in this world, where does this empowerment exist for me to be empowered at death? This is my question. Because if I do not solve the problem of death, then all this manifestation is within time. It is bound to go away. Everything I have got in life will be taken away by life. Every relationship, every object, every meeting, every penny I own or I have temporarily got, everything will go away. Nothing will remain with me. What remains with me? That is the key question then, because that is something we all need to explore. Life, in Gurmat, when Guru Nanak talks about life, he says it is hukam. There is an order in creation, and unless I know that order, I don't know what is good for me. You understand? I hope you understand that. I don't know the city I live in. I can make a decision for my house, but I'm also governed by the laws of the city. The air is bad in this country. I've created air purifiers in my room, in my house, but I am living in this city also. So what is governing me is not only I, it's the hukam, it's the environment I live in. And I have no control over that environment. Somebody does. I don't. And what does it mean for me? We come back to the question, what is life? Assuming this manifestation works very well. But what about these people who were gone through tremendous pain, who are spiritual people, who did nothing wrong to anyone, but they went through pain? We can talk about Jesus, we talk about the Gurus, we talk about Sarmad here in Delhi. Hare Bhare Shah is his place in Nizamuddin. He was killed by Aurangzeb. There are so many examples. Life has to be understood in totality. Hukam has to be known. Without hukam, we are small entities trying to figure out a reality which we live in, which we can't fathom. And the only way of understanding hukam is dropping the ego. And how will I drop the ego? Nanak hukme je bujhe, taho mein kahe na koi. Maharaj is a basic question of life. Then where does happiness lie is the other question of life. Where does permanent happiness lie, if there is any? If there is any state of being which is unconditional happiness, unconditional love, where is that? If there is such a thing. So you see, when you read Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, this is his 350 Shahidi. Maharaj says, Sukh dukh ko tum sam kar jano, aur maan apmanna. So, being exalted, being garlanded, maan and apman, he says they live together, just like we talked about happiness. So he says, consider them the same. They will visit you equally. Do not hold on to happiness in this world, because then unhappiness will come with it. Sukh dukh doye dar kapde pehre jaye manuk. Sukh and dukh, they are like two costumes. We wear one and then the other. Sukh ko mange sabko, dukh na mange koi. Sukhe ko dukh agla, manmukh booj na hoye. He says, when we ask for sukh, happiness, none of us ask for unhappiness. He says, when we ask for happiness, unhappiness and sorrow comes with it. And manmukh, when we are in the moving mind, we do not see this reality. The thinking mind can't see. Then where does this lie, Maharaj? Sukh mangu dukh aagaye, so sukh hame na mangya paye. Bhagat Kabir says, I ask for happiness and unhappiness comes with it. Sukh mangu dukh aage aaye. So sukh hame na mangya paye. That happiness where unhappiness comes with it, I don't want it. I don't ask for it. This he has learnt. We don't learn that. We want to manifest our desires. And our desires are playing in an environment which is limited in its vision. We don't have the complete vision of life. In one line, Guru Nanak Maharaj says, "De lambi nazar nihali." Have a long vision of life. See the entire vision. See the entire picture. And the entire picture of life has death in it. Otherwise, death, you cannot understand life. Because life and death, like duality, live together. Wherever there will be life, there will be death. The other day, this lady was telling me about our progress in society and how people will live for 125 years. So there will be 125 years of misery because we don't know where our happiness lies. And we search for it in the wrong place. This is our environment. We live in this environment. Just see around us what is happening. We are all running. We are all chasing our dreams. And what does the dream bring us? We don't analyze that. If we get everything we want in life, will we be happy? Everything I want comes about. And there are cases like that. Kings, queens, everything you want you get. But are they happy? Or there is something always missing in life, Maharaj? Diana, the princess of Wales, had everything at her feet. But she never had a good relationship with her husband. But she desired it, manifested it, wanted it. So will life give us everything we want? And then will it make us happy? Will happiness live alone? Happiness which lives alone has a name. And it's defined differently from how we assume it. And it doesn't live in the conditions where we assume it to be. I've always narrated this lovely story of Socrates. The last day before he dies. And he tells his friend Crato, "See how these chains which they bound my feet with, they gave me so much pain. And now that they take them off, there is so much relief and joy I'm getting. See how pain and joy live together. When one comes, the other goes away. When we are in pain, joy goes away. When we are in joy, pain goes away. And this is a constant environment." Pir Dastagir in Baghdad asked Maharaj, and he was wanting to kill him for singing the Shabad. He says, "Answer me 3 things. What is there before God? Where does God live? And what does he do?" Maharaj says that you count before me, and he makes him count. He goes from 1, he goes to 20. He says, "No, you're wrong. Go back." Then he counts up to 5. Maharaj says, "Again, you're wrong." Then he goes up to 2. He says, "Again, you're wrong." This time he says 1, and Maharaj says, "You're wrong. What is there before 1? Pir Dastagir says, "Nothing is before 1. Maharaj says, "All creation is Ek Omkar. Nothing is before Ek Omkar." Where does he live, Maharaj? Guru says, "Get me milk." And he says, "There is something in this milk." Then Pir says, "No, there is nothing. There is milk only." No, he says, "There is something in the milk." And this argument goes, and Maharaj says, "What about butter? What about ghee? Clarified butter. Does it live in this milk?" He says, "Yes, of course. If we convert it, we will get butter, we will get ghee." Maharaj says, like that, the Creator lives in his creation. But we don't know this Creator. And we live in this environment of the Creator, and we want our happiness. This selfishness which we have, this urgency to create our own happiness, separated from the source where we live. Like a river saying, I want to separate from where I'm coming from and I want to flow. That's how we are. Imagine a river saying, I don't want to be connected to my source and I want to flow vibrantly. I want to live and merge with the ocean. And I want to find that stability of living in the ocean. We are all desiring like that. What is life? Quantum physics says this is all energy. There is no material. Then where are we? Who are we? Where are we going? Where am I coming from? And what is the reason for my pain? Isn't that what is making us manifest desires when we say, I don't want pain. I don't want sorrow. So we want to figure out this happiness, our source of happiness. We want to manifest happiness in our world without knowing what is happiness. So Crato tells Socrates, run away at night. You will be killed in the morning. And he gives him a dialogue on how we know life only in duality, good, bad, high, low, rich, poor, honored and disgraced, all living together in the same field. So this world is all about change. And our desire for happiness will bring unhappiness, will bring sorrow. So what will manifestation end in? It will end in sorrow unless we figured out what is to do with death. If we can take this answer with us. Empowerment in this world is not about figuring out what I desire from the reasons of desire. That means this will make me happy, that will make me happy. All the reasons for desire are not desire of happiness. They are pain. Because the reasons are in change. Reasons are constantly changing. So if I desire something and it is going to change tomorrow, I am happy with that thing or that person or that situation which will change tomorrow, or it will become unhappiness. So we have to find an environment within ourselves or around us which doesn't change, which is Sada. Is there such an environment? This is the key. Because that will give us the answer to what we are looking for. We are looking for happiness forever. And where does that live? Which is that, like for example, there is a field where there is a garden. So where is this field where there is this garden which is forever green? It never goes bad, the grass. And I have to do nothing about it. This is the other thing. This happiness which I desire in manifestation, I have to constantly do for it. I have to get up in gratitude. And it doesn't seem natural. I am not naturally in gratitude. But I am wanting this gratitude because I am chasing a desire. So I am being actually trying to cheat my way to happiness. The Gurus have a word for this happiness, which they call unconditional happiness, unconditional love, where there is no death. This is the answer to 3 elements of life: sorrow, loneliness, and death. What is the answer to these? And where do these live? Because that's critical. If I have to reach here, I must know where they are. What is the route map to find these sources? Maharaj gives it 2 words: Anand and Amrit. Anand is an absolute word. It has not got any opposite. So, like sorrow, happiness, is got sorrow with it, like rich has poor with it, like good has bad with it. These are not absolutes, because they are conditional. One is conditional on the other. Good is conditional on bad. So Maharaj, what is hukam? We keep wanting to explore this aspect of Guru Nanak's declaration of life, because he says, without knowing hukam, we will not know our happiness. The one question which Guru Granth Sahib answers is, Kiv satyara hoiye, Kiv kude tutte pal. And satyara is a conditional. Satyara means being the truth itself, being that which is forever. And the wall of falsehood, kood, the corruption, wall of corruption around me, how does that fall? Now, we do not understand this question, but this question comes from a very deep understanding of life. Because being this satyara is what will give us stability and what will give us this environment which is forever, where there is no death. This will give us that mind where there is no change. So Maharaj answers this with one line which is very absolute and which is actually very misunderstood or not understood at all by us. Hukam razai chalna. An individual walks into an environment and he wants to create his own realm. He wants to create his own space. He cuts the trees. He kills the animals. He takes away all the crops around him. He or she then creates this environment where he thinks he is comfortable in living. But we can never be comfortable in living without being in harmony with our environment. So the trees took away the oxygen. The animals took away the water. And the man was ready to die. What I am trying to say is that we live in an environment where society is moving towards its own suicide by chasing its desires through the ego. Because the ego or the me or the I is not a permanent reality. It is not something which is sada, forever. It is a transient, temporary reality. I am Gagandeep. What was I before this birth? What will I be after this birth? Assuming I think there is going to be reincarnation. Assuming. Even if there is no reincarnation, what was I before? What will I be after? So either I can put a dead end and say I am nothing beyond this physical world. Where do I come from? Where do I go? How do I find these answers to the key questions of life? Where is my happiness forever? Where is that field in my mind, in my environment, where everything is green, unconditionally, love and happiness exists in absolute? See, this is the reason we don't live life in completeness, because we don't know the reality of life, the hukam of life. Maharaj says, hukam razai chalna. Raza means in acceptance. We live in expectation, and this manifestation is also expectation. It's completely opposite. That is why we find ourselves disappointed. So what does that mean? That I don't work? My business is failing? Should I say, this is hukam? I feel hungry. I don't have water around me. I don't get up and go and get water. I said, this is hukam. This is not what it means. We have this other problem. We apply rules of a different plane, assuming life to be a different plane. One is the physical plane, one is the spiritual plane. So we apply the rules of the physical plane to the spiritual plane. Hukam is a spiritual reality. The physical world is governed by hukam, but it's a different set of rules. Here, the rules are karam, my doing, my change. And the spiritual world is governed by nadar. Karam in Persian means nadar. It means grace. It means is kirpa. And karam in Sanskrit means doing. But we fluctuate between these two. We don't know the nadar world. That is why we will never be successful in the karam world. Nobody is successful in the karam world in any case. Le kaha kathu na chutiye. Hum khin khin pulanhar. This writing, which is the writing of karam, it is never going to go away. Never. We are always going to make some errors or the other. That is why pun and pap is not the method of judgment for the spiritual world. You see very closely. Even the murderers have found the spiritual life. Even if I go back to Gautam Buddha's time, Angulimal, we read this story in our growing up years. It was part of our Hindi text. Angulimal used to kill people and tie the fingers on his neck with a necklace. And Gautam Buddha was told not to visit him or that area because he says, there Angulimal lives, he will kill you. But Gautam Buddha goes, meets him, and dialogues with him. Cut the story short. Angulimal, who is a murderer of many people, becomes a sant, becomes part of Gautam Buddha's sect, Buddhist. Sajjan Thug used to kill people. Guru Maharaj stayed at his house one day. He is a sant the next day. The next day. How then this karam world is defined? And how meaningless it becomes in the nether world. The coin is flipped by the presence of a spiritual person. Flipped. The murderer becomes a sant. A thug becomes a sant. So, I am not saying that we don't need to address pun and pap. Well, that's the cycle we are living. But we will not escape this. Even every seed we sow in pun and pap is a seed we have to live through. So it's a trap. It doesn't free me. If I go into a field and I'm told, everything you sow in this field, you have to cut, then I can never leave that field. I'm never free. I'm going to sow something good, I will have to reap it. Something which is not good, I have to reap it. But I have to be there. I can't leave that environment. I can't leave the karam environment, the doing environment. I cannot leave it because that's my own choosing. I choose to play the game and the game traps me. And I think I'm going to win. And the game ends in death. Who wins? Alexander had this young man who plundered so much land. Nations and nations and nations he. But when he dies, he says, keep my hands out for everyone to see. Throw my wealth on the road where my body is going to go. Let my physicians stand with me and let the people see they are not able to save me. That is how helpless manifestation becomes if it is limited to the ego. If the river is cut off from its source, it has no meaning in the long run. It has no meaning. And that is what the Guru is teaching us. Hukam razahi chalana. Be connected to your source. Be connected to the Creator who has created the Hukam. And Nanak likhya naal. And keep your karam with you. Keep it with you. Live it. Because that's our laboratory. That's our way of learning about life. But in front of Nadar, this karam world has very limited impact on life. Now, the ultimate question. Where does happiness live forever? Is there such a thing? Maharaj, the reason we miss out these aspects of life is because the Japji is very intense in its presentation. And we need the whole Guru Granth Sahib to define the Japji. So Maharaj says that Hukam is where we will find our rest, our peace, our happiness. And then he visits this, na ho mare na thage jaye, jinke Ram vase man maaye. He who has found his source, where he is coming from, is never at a loss, nor does he die. We visit the Sukhmani Sahib every Sunday. I think the last Sunday, Maharaj gave an absolute condition. He says he doesn't die. A person who has visited this environment doesn't die. And if this person has found happiness which is unconditional, then he has found happiness forever. This is the reason the Gurus have not given the world the same weightage which we all give. They are not desperate as we are to get on the Indigo flight. We are missing it. We are missing the lifeboat constantly, every day. Aurangzeb plunders Anandpur Sahib. He chases and goes after the children of Maharaj. He takes away the land. The army is disbanded because they are wandering away. Maharaj travels for a few days and he reaches a place called Dine Kangad. There on the first floor of this house where he lives with one of his Sikhs, Barad Qaum used to live in this area of Kangad. They were his sevaks, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib. He writes a letter. He's lost everything. He has no army. His children are gone. In a matter of few weeks, his mother is gone. He already lost his father. And he sent his father. Says, who but you can sacrifice for someone else? He writes this letter. And the heading of this letter in Persian is Zafarnama. A letter of victory. Who wins in this world? Who has more wealth? Who has more power? Who has more influence? Does he win or she win? Is that the test of life? Do the Ambanis and the Adanis win this life? Or is there something else? If there is something else, then what is it? In the Zafarnama, Maharaj gives two logics to Aurangzeb. He says, Turagar nazaras lashkar vazar ke mara nigas yazda shukar. Between you and me, there is one basic difference. You take every decision on the basis of your army and your wealth. But I take every decision with the Yazda Shukr, with the Shukr of the Creator. Within me, within us, within my dhyan. He says, Bibi gardishe be wafai zama. Aurangzeb, understand this. This life is transient and temporary. Bibi, dekh. Gardishe bewafai zama. The zamana is bewafa. Ke barhar baguzar. With the moving of time, makino maka. Nor does the house remain, nor the dweller in the house remains. This is all a transient environment. That's why Maharaj calls it Maya. It is not forever. Then in this whole environment, I'm running short of time, so I will move a little fast. In this whole environment, what is it, Maharaj, which is forever then? And how do I get there? Maharaj calls this seeking happiness, seeking for happiness, Amrit. Surnar Munjan Amrit khoj de. Jis jal nid karan tum jagaye. So Amrit Gurte Pahe Jiyo. You are thirsty for something. In this thirst you have come into this world. This Amrit means life beyond death. Amrit does not die. And Amrit also means nectar. It means happiness and love together. A pleasure, a joy to live through. So Maharaj says that this is what we are all seeking. And this reality of life is understood only when we go beyond our ego. And how do we meet our environment without the ego? Kiv sachiara hoiye, kiv kude tutte paal. Maharaj says that to find this, फिर के आगे रखिए जिद से दरबार. Where, what do I give? What do I put before the Creator to find the place where the Creator is? मुकी बोलन बोलिए. What should I say? जित सुनता रे प्यार. Maharaj says, Amrit Vela, Sachna, Vadiyai Vichar. Go into meditation of the Creator. Vichar means first understanding that you and I and ego is not the center of life. The ego is not our solution, it's our problem. हमें दीर्घ रोग है, दारू भी इसमें है. कृपा करे जे अपनी ता गुर का शब्द कमाए. नानक कहे सुनो जनो इत संजम दुख जाए. You want to go away from pain and sorrow, find Amrit and Anand. We have to transcend the moving and thinking mind and find this new mind within us, which Guru calls Anand. And this mind is only opened when our ego is dropped, Maharaj. Hukum razai chalna. When the hukum becomes our environment and I is gone. And I can only go with the meeting of Shabad Guru. This is the ultimate manifestation of creation. Finding that happiness which cannot be taken away from us. That happiness which can go with time is not happiness. It's unhappiness. It's sorrow. Life which ends in death is not life. Maharaj says, Nanak Bhakta Sada Vigas. Sada, forever. Bhagat. The Bhagats live in an environment which is forever happiness. And they cannot be separated from their happiness. For them, meeting and separation don't exist. It's only meeting. Dukh and pain, kit kit bit, jag upje purkha, कित कित दुख बिनस जाई, हौमे विच जग उपजे पुरखा, नाम बिसरिए दुख पाई। डिठा सब संसार, सुख नाही नाम बिन। Please very carefully understand this. The only place where happiness exists in this creation is Naam. The rest is all pain, is dukh, sorrow, separation. And the Guru takes us to this environment where we can move without an ego, without the moving mind. Only the Guru can do this. Kirpa करे जे अपनी तो गुरु का शब्द कमाए. Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj calls this कड़िए शब्द सच्ची टकसाल, जिनको नदर करम तिनकार. This is what we need to manifest. This is what we need to cry for. This is what we need to explore. This is what we need to search. बंदे खोज दिल हर रोज. Search the man, meditate on your thoughts and go beyond it. Know that environment where there are no thoughts, where there is no man, where there is no sorrow, there are no conditions for happiness, where love and happiness exists as a precondition of that environment without us doing anything. Like Henry David Thoreau found in the Walden Pond, rest and peace. And that peace gives him a glimpse of happiness. And he says non-doing and doing are two environments of life. These two environments of life where we exist, one is this moving mind and one is the non-moving mind. One is the home, the other is the Guru. So Shabad is our environment where we find peace, happiness and love, where the manifestation of happiness, Anand and Amrit, is a permanent reality. That's what the Gurus have gifted us. That is the empowerment which Guru gives us. That is the reason where we see so many Sikhs before us fearless of death. Because their happiness doesn't exist on the physical. They are not dependent on the physical. They may find happiness in the physical, but it's not dependent on the physical. They have another source of happiness within themselves, which is forever. कड़िए शब्द सच्ची टकसाल, जिनको नदर करम तिनकार. There's another world where Guru and Sikh meet, where meeting is defined forever. That is why Maharaj tells Aurangzeb, na sazo, na bazo, na fauzo, na farsh, Khudavan bakshan de sharch. I don't have any armies, I don't have any house, any kingdom. I have nothing physically. But my source of happiness is not gone away. This is your imagination. Khudavand bakshan de sharch. This is what Guru Sahib calls Anand. And that is why we sing Anand in the end of every session of life, of Darbar. Whether it is a happy source or an unhappy Darbar, where we are celebrating some marriage or we have someone's death, irrelevant. The ending is always Anand. The end of every Sikh is Anand Sahib. Where the Guru meets the Sikh is the only condition, Maharaj. With this thought, we will end today's session. I will address some questions which have been raised while I was talking. Never dwelled into this topic, but is it like we are trying to live in a future that we have imagined for ourselves, but isn't? Imagine, but isn't that what we do most of the time? We are either living in the past or future and lose our present. How about living with the Shabad as our reality within ourselves while living in the physical world? There is no need to shrink our efforts into the physical world. That's a very conditional. The physical world is a conditioned environment. So somebody who was born into a billionaire's family will know as billions as a normal thing. So his or her environment will be defined by how she or he has been brought up or has been taught or learnt from the environment. So the sukh and dukh and the choices which we make are according to that. But in the spiritual world, all this is irrelevant. Rich and poor, high and low, powerful and the less empowered, the good and the bad is all leveled. There the Naam is our empowerment. So we live this world. We live with the effort it requires, with the short-term manifestation also possible if we need to use it. It's short-term. But to know that life has a reality beyond what we are living. Life has a dimension full of Anand, unconditionally. We must know that. And we must put energy, commitment in seeking that. Moond liye darwaze, baji liye anahd baji. For some time shuts ourselves from the outside world and go inward. Everything life can take away from us. But if we have found Anand, that can never be taken away from us. That Guru says again and again and again. Satgur ka dilasa. He guarantees this. He says, Na mete koi. Nobody can wipe out the grace of the Creator. Satgur ka dilasa. The Guru's mark on our life, the Guru's presence in our man, the Shabad empowering us will never be taken away. Second question, what should one manifest actually to get into the realm of true happiness? Well, whatever the physical life wants us to manifest, that's a separate issue. Somebody who is a lawyer wants to learn about law and do the law well, learn it well, dedicate his energy or her energy to law. Somebody who is a mechanic wants to be a good mechanic, learns the mechanism of how to be a good mechanic. That's the physical reality. We must live that in its own defined way. Nanak likhya naal. What is coming in my baggage, I live with it. Live it. But while doing that, I explore the spiritual path of life, the spirit, the dhyan of Shabad, Surt and Shabad, the game of Surt and Shabad, where the inner mind is exposed to us. We should live in the moment of Shabad. Living in the moment is finding Shabad. I think that ends the questions for today. And I thank you all for your presence and hope we can understand something about life and change the way we live in future and find Guru within ourselves. That's the ultimate manifestation of life. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj lives everywhere. There is no place where he is not. Hope we can find him one day. Thank you so much. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh. So there are no more questions. If there are any questions, we will do an ansab and conclude the session today. Somebody can volunteer for an ansab. It will be nice. Somebody new, maybe Manmeet Kaurji, do you do some part? You can do an ansab if you possible. Param, Ramandeep, anyone else?
Hanji ji.
Why not? Thank you ji. Dhanwad.
Should I start?
जी जी प्लीज हाँ जी
राम कली महला तीजा आनंद एक ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद आनंद पाया मेरी माए सतगुरु मैं पाया सतगुरता पाया सहज सेती मन बजिया वादाइया राग रतन परवार परिया शब्द गावन शब्दो तगावो हरि केरा मन जिनी वसाया कहे नानक आनंद होवा सतगुरु मैं पाया ए मन मेरिया तू सदा रहो हर नाल रहो तू मन मेरे दुख सब विसारना अंगीकार ओ करे तेरा कारज सब सवारना सबना गला समरथ स्वामी सो क्यों मनो विसारे कहे नानक मन मेरे सदा रहो हर नाले साचे साहेबा क्या नहीं करते रे करता तेरे सब किछ है जिस थे है सो पावे सदा सिफत सलाह तेरी नाम मन वसावे नाम जिनके मन वसिया वाजे शब्द कनेरे कहे नानक सच्चे साहिब क्या नहीं करते रे साचा नाम मेरा आधारो साच नाम आधार मेरा जिन भुखा सब गवाइया कर शांत सुख मन आय वसिया जिन इच्छा सब पुजाइया सदा कुर्बान किता गुरु विठो जिस दिया ये वडियाइया कहे नानक सुनो संतो शब्द करो प्यारो साचा नाम मेरा आधारो बाजे पंच शब्द तित कर सभागे शब्द वाजे कल्ला जित कर तारिया पंच दूत तुद वस कीते काल कंटक मारिया तुर करम पाया तुद जिनको से नाम हर के लागे कहे नानक तह सुख होवा तित कर अनहद वाजे आनंद सुनो वड पागियो सगल मनोरथ पूरे पार ब्रह्म प्रपाया उतरे सगल विसूरे दुख रोग संताप उतरे सुनी सती बाणी संत साजन पए सरसे पूरे गुरते जानी सुनते पुनित कहते पवित्र सतगुर रहा पर पूरे बिनवंत नानक गुर चरण लागे वाजे अनहद तुरे श्लोक पवन गुरु पाणी पिता माता तरत महत दिवस रात दुर्दाई दाया खेलै सगल जगत चंगियाइया बुरियाइया वाचे धर्म हदूर करनी आपो आपनी के नेड़े के दूर जिन्नी नाम ते आया गए मशक्कत काल नानक ते मुख उजले केती छुट्टी नाल जिन्नी नाम ते आया गए मशक्कत काल नानक ते मुख उजले खेती छुट्टी नाल। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।
Waheguru ji ka khalsa, Waheguru ji ki fateh. One thing which I would like to mention is that we have, I do Kirtan in the morning with Sangat, Baljit and Swaran, and other Sangat also joins us at 4:30 to 6 in the morning. Saturday, Sunday we do it at home, but in the weekdays we do in Lodi Road, Gurdwara. And if any of you are keen to join us, you can message us and we'll give you the details. We also put them in the group. So we do this sadhana, Amrit sadhana in the morning.